Detective Comics 1093, Tom Taylor writing with MIKEL JANÍN on the art. So, good. Right, a lot of good stuff in here, right? That said, though, the opening scene, whilst very well written, is poking the bear that we're scared of him poking.
Poking the bear that we're scared of him poking. That's a hell of a sentence.
Yeah, because the opening scene is this flashback to after the Waynes died, and there was like, you know, as you get with sometimes with tragedies, like people putting out wreaths and flowers and things like that, little memorial, and it's at the front gate of the Wayne Manor, as you might expect it. And the mum, that, you know, the Joe Chill's, you know, girlfriend
Ex.
or ex, Kate comes with her daughter and is putting flowers down and sees a young Bruce, and Bruce says, "Oh, did you know my parents?" And he especially notices when she introduces her daughter as, you know, her middle name being Martha, like, you know, and she, you know, the daughter intentionally says her full name with her middle name, because normally you don't. Most people don't bother using their middle name. It's just kind of there.
No, the only time you use three names if it's a serial killer. So, you know, this scene, I remember it ending in my head with Alfred chasing them away with a broom. So when I went back when I revisited it, I was like, oh no, he just, you know, shoot them away.
No, because they pay this moment off later. Because Alfred runs out when Bruce gets a little bit scared because the woman kind of like, you know, doesn't grab him in an aggressive way, but kind of like, you know, grabs his arm and starts saying, "I'm so sorry for what he did. Please forgive us," or whatever. And I was like, okay, I think this scene's well written. I especially like Bruce getting scared and Alfred running out and like standing in front of him and being like, "It's okay, I'm here." And that's the moment that pays off later, because Batman says that to one of the runaway kids. He's like, "I'm here." So that was a nice payoff to that. But as poking the bear, this idea that we're still teasing that the Joe Chill murder of the Waynes possibly wasn't like a random thing. It still could be, and I'm still hoping it is.
Yeah.
But
I mean, here the point of the scene, though, I do like that the mother that was saved all those years ago, right? You know, wants to come and pay her respects, and just happens to see Bruce. You know, a young Bruce here, and I mean, she has her own kid and whatever. So
it is true here that this is like what 4 or 5 years later, based on the age of the kid. So, you know, it still could just be a chance encounter. You know, it's not like Joe Chill necessarily targeted the Waynes, but we are worried, or I'm worried at least, that that might be something that we do.
Yeah.
And I'm trusting Tom Taylor, who normally does not let me down, to
patron saint of the show,
to not, you know, not do me dirty. So again, anytime they tease like that it was a hit or whatever, it takes away from the random act of violence in Gotham that gives birth to Batman, to that persona. Yeah, you know. So because if it's a targeted thing, it's not that, you know, it's not indicative of Gotham, right? Yeah, is this the same as like giving someone to like blame for Krypton? Like, I mean, okay, we can kind of blame Krypton as a whole for not like listening to the scientists. It's a societal problem. But
that's different than Rogol Zar going to the core and destroying it because he was angry.
Example I was going to use was Rogol effing Zar.
Yeah, God. Anyway.
Yeah, so it comes to present day, of course, and the Bat family are out collecting all of the other kids who were released from the same juvie center. So we get a nice little montage of Red Hood, Steph, Tim Drake, Signal, Babs, and Damien all collecting different juvenile ex-offenders, which I loved. My favorite detail of all this is that Damien's kid is by far the biggest of all of them. I got a chuckle out of that.
Yep, I like that. Also, just I love the way that they break it down into threes. You know, we got Red Hood, we got why am I drawing a blank? Steph, and then Tim, and then on the other page, Signal, Babs, and Damien. So I do like that we went with threes, and the way that Janін does the layouts, they're different, right? All giving them equal pages or equal amount of the page, it looks like.
Yeah. Taylor is quite good at remembering about the extended family and that they matter in some way. 'Cause it's not just like things like this, because it's very easy for them to write a scene where oh, we have to like get a bunch of different people all over the city. So, oh, you'll get a nice little cameo from the Bat family. No, it's the moments later on, like when they're in the meeting talking to the kids, and they're actually discussing the fact that, oh no, we're all investigating this. So, hey, your new girlfriend, Bruce, like, you know, works for this company that may be tied to all this shit. Like, maybe we should talk about it. And, you know, Jason's giving him shit, Tim's giving him shit. And it's like, no, you're all involved. And I like that.
Yeah. I would love for him to tell a throwback story of Bruce and Tim, because that dynamic is we've seen a lot of it in Nightwing, where the Bruce and Dick dynamic, but Taylor has that down. And just their chemistry in those few pages of Tim going back and needling him a little bit, you know, about what was it in particular? Let me get to those. Oh, it's about, you know, the kids and the privacy. You know, we can't invade their privacy, yet that's what Bruce does all the time.
Yeah, and that's what they throw back in his face when he gets a little annoyed. He's like, wait, who told Jason I was intimate with that woman? And Tim's like, hey, we threw some privacy under the bus to stop a murderer. And Bruce can't say shit.
No. And so that's the dynamic that I love, that I would love to see Taylor do more of, just because I think that pairing of Tim's Robin and Bruce, because they're so similar, right? And they're both the kind of more of the, let's not say intellectual, but they're the ones that are the more the detective side of things. I think that story would be a lot of fun. And I can't remember if Taylor's done that era, right? We've gotten early Bruce, and we've gotten this around the Bruce, but I don't think we've gotten a lot of that from him. So I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So when we get to Batman, and it's before that meeting scene that takes place, he's collecting like one of the kids himself. And this father or stepfather is abusive to the kid's mother, and Batman stops the guy from punching the kid, and sort of asks like, wait, why? You know, what's the bother here? And the kid explains that this guy's been abusive to his mother, and Batman's like, is that true? And this guy just immediately pulls out a shotgun and tries to like, stand up to Batman.
Well, and he is a big dude. Like, he towers over Batman, so which makes this scene look even cooler. Yeah,
and this is the payoff to him saying, "I'm here." Because that's what Alfred said to him once upon a time, in a very similar pose. But there's something just really beautiful about the panel of Batman walking up to the shotgun so that his chest is touching it, and then just going, "You small man," and this guy is hulking above him, but yes, on a moral or spiritual level, you're a tiny human being who has no balls, and Batman just takes it out of his hand.
Well, he does in general, I think does a really good homage to that. You know, this is the weapon of the enemy from Dark Knight Returns, him breaking the shotgun over his knee. So there's that here that looks pretty cool. And then I don't know where he gets bat cuffs this large, because this man has forearms the size of most people's thighs, and Bruce gets some bat cuffs on him. So I thought that was pretty funny as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's one size fits all, right? They're adjustable.
Yeah, but like this man's wrists are massive. You know, like the regular cuffs that are one size fits all would have issues.
But Batman needs to get to the zip ties because they're a bit more, versatile. That said, though, they're single use. Once you've used them once, you can't use them again.
No.
So.
And Batman's not about waste. You know, can't be leaving stuff around like Spider-Man.
Look, he's not quite as rich as he used to be. All right, he's got to save the pennies, and reusable cuffs is an important expense-saving measure.
And he's not going to Dick Grayson asking for money. That's not who Bruce is.
No. He might use some dick to get some money if things get really bad.
But
They just stand there and he's cool on a street corner.
I thought you meant romancing older women.
No, I meant it'd be a filthy whore, Matt.
Yeah, gotcha.
Start the OnlyFans page, the Bat fans.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, so we get to see it, and Batman, because he's dealing with this, is a little bit late to it. So the rest of the team, Babs is given the speech, which I kind of like. If anything, I could have done with Batman taking a little bit longer to show up and seeing the rest of the team sort of cover the reins and just see them working well as a unit. But he gives them all like hats and watches and stuff, all things that have basically individual like signal watches, like, you know. So as much as they say it's like mini bat signals, I'm like, yeah, but it's a lot more like Jimmy Olsen's thing.
Yes,
It's just, but it's more tech based than it is a just, oh, it's a frequency that only Superman can hear.
Yeah, I would have liked for Babs to point out we took some inspiration from somewhere else. That would have been fun.
And this is where Tim points out, yeah, I checked those things. There's a lot of microphones and cameras in those items as well. So that's the whole thing. So yeah, Bruce tries to make another date with St. Clair.
Scarlet?
Yeah, Scarlet, thank you. I'm forgetting her name. Do you know what? Now that you've said it, I'm like, I think last time I said, oh, I'll try and remember it because her hair is like not quite scarlet, but it's you know, it's on the cusp of getting there.
I get it. I remember her as a serial killer, so her name will always be the three.
Yes.
You know, Scarlet Martha Scott.
Although they may be swerving, I don't know if it's 100% sure it's going to be her yet.
I think I know who it is now, so we'll get there.
Yeah, it's the Our Lady, the one with the face mask on here. The one with the mask
and red hair. That kind of looks like a Sema.
Yes, we get her name, of course. Yes, we get the villain's name later on. But yeah, she can't quite make it. So Batman goes and hunts down like why is all these assassins here? So it turns out someone had paid a bunch of assassins to come into Gotham and try and take out the serial killer. But they're all been turned away now. But Batman finds out who hired them, and it turns out to be the Penguin. Penguin hired a bunch of people. Not to kill the killer, but to bring them in alive, because a lot of his employees are these juvenile delinquents that haven't shown up. So he's pissed about it. Which again
makes sense in that version of Gotham, where these are all street kids, and of course, Penguin would know what's going on, with these troubled youth. Because he's gonna that's where he's drafting them from.
Well, the most recent version we got of Penguin's past in the last couple of years was very much the idea that he himself was a kid like that kind of rose up through the ranks. So it makes a lot of sense that he would be hiring the same sort of way that he was hired. But Penguin, the one interesting thing here though is that Penguin says that I didn't call the order off, someone else did, and Batman's like, wait. Someone has that power to call it off, even though they had nothing to do with the hiring. And he's like, yep, I don't know who it is. Some deep, shadowy organization. I've tried to find out. But I did get one thing, though. I got the name of the killer, Asima. So we've got a name to go by now, which is, doesn't really mean much other than just, hey, we've something to call her.
Yeah, so I've Googled the name before, and it's a type of vampire from other folklore. Which again, stealing blood, murdering, all this, it hits all the tropes. Well,
kind of, in like a sort of roundabout way, it's not literally sucking the blood, but stealing the blood. So it's very, very thematic and all that. Asima shows up going after one of the kids, and really nice art here in this chase, like the speed lines on the car. When Asima jumps off and the car crashes, it's very it kind of reminds me a little bit of like towards the end of the first Terminator, when the truck explodes and all that and the car goes into the wall. But of course Batman shows up, and I think what's interesting is that Asima is like, oh, you're Batman, you inspired me. I don't want to fight with you. This guy doesn't deserve to live, though. He's a bad one, so I'm going to kill him. And Batman's like, no, we're not going to be doing that. And she is quite formidable, right? She's able to fight back against Batman, and ultimately is able to inject him with some anesthesia or whatever.
With a sedative, essentially. Knocks him out. Yeah,
to go down. And it's a really sweet kind of dark scene though, because she like in this scuffle with Batman, when Batman's trying to de-escalate it and the kid tries to run, when she gets like close enough to him, she swipes at his neck with her claws that she wears, and Batman even says in his narration that, oh, that's an artery, he has to get to a hospital, he has to get that patched up immediately or he's going to die in 10 minutes or whatever. And well, probably less than that now I'm thinking about it, but it's like, okay, so Batman's going to get to the hospital, but then she tranks Batman, and we get this sequence where Batman's lying, unable to move, next to the victim who's bleeding out, and they end up just holding hands as this kid's presumably dying. And this whole issue is Batman repeatedly, like in his narration, saying, I failed to save these like 6, 7 kids that have been killed. A couple of them have been really personal because he was so close to it and didn't save them. And this issue for him ends with holding the hand of this teenager dying. And I just like, you know what? This hit a little like harder than I think that I would have expected that it might have. The visuals and the art really help. I think Asima, while at first she looked kind of generic as a villain, and arguably her design still kind of is, I do think that she's a bit more interesting as a character now after this issue.
Well, the whole thing that threw me for a loop was she said that she's been inspired by Batman.
Yes.
You know, and that whole thing of she has a black and white view that these kids are bad, so therefore, you know, we'll take from them and give to those who, you know, in her twisted view sense, who deserve it more. And those people tend to be billionaires and whatever. So it's like this twisted sense of justice or whatnot. But yeah, wasn't expecting a code out of Asima, so that was cool.
Yeah, because Batman even narrates that she's not trying to hurt him. Like, you know, she's holding her claws back. She's not trying to go for kills. She doesn't want to take Batman out. So, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, actually, that she respects what Batman's doing, but is going to keep killing people. But, yeah, anyway. But, yeah, so Batman recognizes a smell, though, as she walks away. It's white musk, which I don't remember that coming up, but I'm assuming it's something he smelled at the lab or... Possibly even with his new girlfriend, but I do think that's a bit of the I think we're meant to think it's her right now, and then it's going to turn out to be the other lady, like you said. But the ending is, you know, whoever this is goes back to the lab, right? So we see the work there, and they got a sample of Batman's blood when she injected him with the thing, and she tests the blood, and because they have Bruce Wayne's DNA on file because they've been giving him treatment, it pops up Bruce Wayne, and you know she's like, oh, look what you had to become, Bruce, and that's the cliffhanger. So what gets me and why I don't think it's Scarlet, right, is the second to last panel is, oh, you poor thing. So it's someone that's looking down kind of on Bruce, which wouldn't tell me that it was this girl who he's had a relationship with, and you know, it's someone that is a bit removed from him. So I think it's intentionally ambiguous, though. Like, I know, and I agree with. I mean, I think that she's such a red herring at this point that I think it has to be the other character. But I think you could read that "oh poor thing" as like care for him, like, oh, you poor thing, like you've had to do this, you had to become Batman because of what happened to you. Like, I think you could read that as sympathy, depending on the tone, depending on the how it's delivered.
But yeah, so to me it shows a piece, like there's a bit of separation between it. So, but yeah, definitely picks back up. So, you know, and ending on a big moment.
No, I mean, I'm really enjoying this arc. I think Taylor's writing a pretty solid detective comic story. It's just that one little thing of like, well, what's he going to do with this flashback stuff? It's got the possibility to piss me off, and this is kind of like, this is really the first time it's really come up again since that first issue where it first did the reveal that Joe Chill was related to anything that was going on. But we'll see. But no, this had cool action. I think the Batman line, unable to help the kid dying next to him, is a genuinely good moment. That's pretty powerful. I think the villain's a bit more interesting as a villain now. The idea that some organization really high up and powerful was able to call off a hit that the Penguin ordered, also suggests, okay, is it just Asima's that powerful, or that she works for an entity that is that powerful?
Yeah, and a lot of money is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and they're basically trying to figure out immortality. So rich people would do all this for that.
Thematically, we know that's something that Taylor's been tackling all across his DC books. You know, from his Suicide Squad through the John Kent Superman book, Nightwing. So yeah, so it checks out on his end too. That of course, people with money would be able to stop something like that because they want this to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what are you giving Detective Comics, Matt?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I thought it was a really strong issue.
Yeah, I find it hard to disagree. I think it's got some great moments. I think, Yeah, the only reason why I wouldn't go even higher than 8.5, it doesn't really do anything wrong. Well, there's nothing wrong. It just, like, there's just a perfect structure to an issue that's like a 9 or a 10. And this, you know, you can almost feel the different parts of it, you know, but it's a really solid issue.
You can see the seams a bit.
Yeah. But no, Bat Family stuff was fun. All those big climatic moments were fun. The teasing of who the villain is. Well, it seems obvious. I mean, if anything, if they want to shock me now, they would just turn it to be the girlfriend.
Yeah, right.
Because it would be a surprise.
There is no swerve.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes.